episode 62 of the Millie Goats, the DraftKings Destiny, September 13th, 2023. Happy National Peanut Day. Not Peanut Tillman. Well, maybe. So, I don't know, but we have been off. We have been all over the map the last week or so.
Hey, we've been worldwide Millie Goats.
That's what I'm saying. And we're still all over the map. Tex and Butch P out of town. Tex actually finally in Texas for the first time in his life.
Yeah, you noticed.
I haven't
Go ahead.
heard a single Texas is back text yet.
I was about to say that, DYLON. You know, AK went to Texas. He said Texas is not back. Butch had a layover in Texas. He said Texas is not back. Texas is in Texas, and we haven't heard Tex is back.
It
So
is.
It must not be back.
Well, here's what's going to happen. Butch and I were both down there. Texas won. If Texas loses this weekend, is Texas's kryptonite? That's the question. I mean, I'm just saying, right? I can't go to Texas every weekend. Texas has a big game. So,
is every game big?
It just means more now.
Not yet.
So,
big crosshair on them.
So we're trying to win the Millie like we are every time we record the show. This time it was football time. And I have to ask everybody, did anyone win the Millie?
I did not. But we didn't have a show on Sunday, and I was ready to go all in on it. So I'm going to have to go a little in on it right now. The Millie lineup that won Thursday night, I had 5 of 6 players.
Oh, from the Kansas City and Detroit
game.
The
showdown. I had 5 of 6 players. The one player I missed on is I played Sky Moore as my captain, and as a captain, he got 0.3 points. So my first how dare you is how dare you to
Wait
Sky
a minute.
Moore.
0.3?
Yes, 0.3 points as a captain.
Good thing they doubled it.
Yeah, so if I would have played anybody else, and because of that, I didn't even cash. I had 5 of the 6 guys in the Millie lineup, and I didn't even cash because he got 0.3 as a captain. If that's not DraftKings right there, that's not, I mean, come on.
What's not DraftKings is I sent out a tweet and we were talking in the group message. I said, it was early in the day. I said, watch this. CH is going to go for 2 touchdowns. And I'll be dad blamed if CH didn't trot out on the field for the first series for the Chiefs. After I went in on a huge McKinnon, McKinnon's the guy. I got a feeling Kelsey is out. He's going to fill the void, in between the hashes, be the quick outlet guy for Mahomes, da-da-da-da-da. And I was just like, you have got to be kidding me with CH out on the field right now.
The thing for me, too, is that morning, Thursday morning, I was like, just let me look over this again. And I was looking through the lineups and I saw Rice. And
Raji.
I said, why is Rice priced higher than Sky Moore and a couple other guys? And I was like, I don't know. I've never heard of this guy, though. There's no way. I was like, I'm going to trust Sky Moore because he scored in the Super Bowl. They're going to play off of that. And, I mean, he had the targets. I mean, he had hands like bricks, like Tony. But
Tony. I captained Tony in 2 of my lineups.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I sent the screenshot. I finished 35th out of 35.
Yes. Tony had more drops in that game than Larry Fitzgerald had in his whole career.
Oh, dude, so bad. And then he deleted his Instagram, but then reactivated it to troll the Giants when they got blown out by 40.
Yeah, that's a new thing now, is deleting Instagram.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we got a lot to get to because we didn't do a Sunday show, so we're gonna briefly kind of go over the games and some of our. I don't think we're actually gonna go over the lineups because other than DYLON went 35-35, we're gonna look more toward this week's lineups. Just know we didn't win the Millie. If we'd won the Millie, trust me, you would know.
Yeah. I bet y'all thought we did because we didn't do a show on Sunday.
Yeah.
No, we would have found out a way to do that.
I did cash. What was y'all's highest point? I did want to cover that. What was the highest point for the week?
For the week?
For the Sunday.
My Millie lineup was my highest, but I didn't put that in the Wodamaker. If I'd have put that in the Wodamaker, I would have won the Wodamaker. Let me see.
I did cash. I did cash one of them.
159.52 was my high.
Ooh, that'll won you some Skrillas.
Yeah, I cashed in the Millie. Pretty good.
Mine was 142.54. That was the old Baker Mayfield right there, buddy.
Yeah, I had Baker Mayfield too.
Went up into Minnesota.
But I took Butch's advice and I played Mims. He was I put Godwin over Evans. But Tyreek Hill, I mean, he went off. And I had Tyreek Hill and Eckler in that lineup and Zay Flowers. So those were my Fire Flames guys.
Hey, we did call it 2-2 Atwell.
Yeah. Nah, I had a 163 in the Millie. So that cashed pretty good. That brought me even for the week. But
nice.
I had McCaffrey, Ridley, and Aaron Jones. And Kirk Cousins, who, despite 3 turnovers, still threw for like 340-plus yards.
You're going to get that from him.
Kirk revivalist.
Yeah, I'm here to revive. This is the makeup time. This will stop all the naysayers if we can go in Thursday night.
Oh, man. Yes. Yeah, that's the game, not the one you were supposed to win by like 30.
We're going to Kirk.
Y'all are going to have your platform, guys. Everybody knows. DYLON's obviously, you can tell, big time skull, big times the what did Tex call you? The skull, the registrar of skull. That's
registrar
what it was.
Skull, yeah.
And
I was trying to get people to get on the wagon because here in a few months, there's not going to be room. It's going to be too late. So I'm registering them in.
J-Vaz, an avid Bills fan, lifelong Bills fan, and myself, as you can see. Number 1 team in the power rankings. There's nothing y'all can say. I'm not even going to have to say anything until y'all are done. So we're going to let them have the floor to explain their team's disaster here in just a minute. But there's 2 things I want to get to before we get to anything else. This is a football show. We're football guys. Number 1, biggest story in football. Leave Sam Martin alone. He was trying to strip the ball.
Dude, I'm getting into that. That's my tail lines.
No, that's
we got a lot of support on Twitter.
Don't give me that.
Look, right there. That's not a Danny Dimes jersey.
People don't know ball.
We got exactly. You could clearly tell in that slow motion thing, that film. He made a swipe at the ball, and that dude was carrying. I mean, he was carrying that thing out there. I mean, he was waving them around like the bingo people at the retirement home.
If he had any help from his cover team, that guy trips. That ball's moving. That's a fumble.
And he saves the game. So
yeah,
get off his back. He had a great game. Other than that, we're not going to stand for the slander that's being thrown around all the social medias. He was trying to make a play there. He was trying to win the game. So you want to talk about that? Go somewhere else. Not on this show.
No, not up in here.
Anything else to add to that?
No, I mean, I was going to touch on it as my tail lines because, like I said, people just don't know ball. Like, if you look at this man's contract, this is a smart play by him because if you look at his contract, he has in there, a certain amount of forced fumbles as a contract incentive. So he was going for that forced fumble. So
that could be on the return.
Play. It was a smart play by 8-ball. Yeah. Like, it was a smart play by 8-ball right there. It just, it's the angle of the camera is what it like. People just don't know ball.
When they showed that, we had to shout out BMO who pointed that out. He was like, "Hey, that ball was about to come out." And
I knew what he was doing, but yeah, he pointed out the ball was moving. And if you look, that Big Cat, I think Big Cat posted the video and said it was a business decision. Damn right, it was a business decision because if he gets that fumble, that's money in his pocket.
He's the biggest hero in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay, so my tail line was also on it, but I want to say, Rook or Mr. Martin, if you're out there, we would like you to officially endorse when we are the ones that make the meme that breaks the internet. But we need your endorsement to be the official meme because we can't let it live down right now because it's popping up on Apple News, we got to capitalize. But somebody's got to trademark it first. So please let it be the Millie Goats. We're in support of you, but if we can monetize this meme, that would be great.
I've got a shirt idea already.
Look, somebody that knows ball pointed it out, and they sent me a D to add to his jersey.
Oh, dog.
Dion thinks that Sam Martin's a dog.
Dog.
Oh, so I added the D.
I didn't realize you had a D on there. Oh, man. So, yeah, the other thing was Aaron Rodgers, obviously. So I got something for that. I got something for that in my tail lines. I got articles.
Well, I mean, I hate it for him, but the memes that were coming out of that were pretty funny.
Well, he said, well, you know what he did? So somebody said he went into the tent, and they were like, no, not another darkness retreat.
Yeah. No, they said Aaron Rodgers 2023 full highlights, and it was just him running out with the flag.
At least he was carrying the flag.
Into the dark. I think they heard. Do you remember that when I said that? I said, if they don't dim the lights when he comes out, they're doing it wrong. So you think they heard us?
I don't know.
Credit us. And then he fully went full darkness mode by saying, from the dawn is always darkest before the light.
I hate it,
or
though.
something.
I know you don't like him, but he can sling the rock.
Yeah, but did you see what they said about him? Like, first of all, I knew it was an Achilles injury right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Y'all can quote me on that. I was like, I thought it was going to be like Liz Frank.
ACL.
No, when I saw the replay like twice, I was looking. I was like, "What got?" Oh no!
Yeah,
I saw his heel just like.
Yeah, you know to look for that calf thing.
That fibula, that small little bone. Who was it that broke it the other year? They were out for the entire. Yeah, was it Dak that broke his fibula? Yeah, it chipped off that bottom part. And I was thinking when his ankle went out like that, I was like, oh, I bet he did the exact same thing with that torch.
That would have been much better. This is going to be 40-year-old guy, Achilles repair, not good.
Nah, man, they're gonna bring in the magic shaman. Don't worry,
dude. They're gonna bring in Fitzmagic back.
Fitzmagic
to play for the Jets. But yeah, there was all the darkness stuff, whatever. I mean, it sucks, but I got something for everybody saying we need grass. I'm gonna get you. I got numbers. I got stats. But yeah, that was terrible to see. Nobody wants to see that. So
I feel bad for every sportscaster that for the past 7 months has been on this train about if he's a Jet, what's going to happen, and then they get Dalvin Cook. Oh, they're stacking with Garrett Wilson. For the past 6 months, all we talked about is JETS, and now it's like, are they bringing Kaepernick back?
What's hilarious is they still have 5 primetime games. So now people have to watch the Jets with Zach Wilson for 5 times primetime.
Well, and another thing is the offensive line was a big cut block guy. And for the first 3 snaps of the game, that play in particular, they did a cut block and Leonard Floyd was not having it. So, but he was pressured every single down.
Yeah, he was.
So
I know we came out firing. I'm like, let's go.
Hey, we'll let you get to that. I'm going to give you the floor here in a minute.
Man, our offense shit the bed.
Poop the bed.
So, okay. Circus Chat. We didn't go live last Thursday, but we will this week, I think, at some point. But we're all traveling right now. This was a busy week for the Millie Goats, as far as travel goes. But that's an app. You download it. You can take your group chats with your friends live. You go there, download Circus Chat, search for the Millie Goats. You'll find us. We're the top channel, and then we watch the game. You can join the circle or join the ring, and boom. We're all laughing together, cracking hilarious jokes, and sending memes. And then Hall of Fame Bets just now, this past week, got an NFL tab. Parlay Builder. They have had some tweets that are going out that are absolutely miraculous on some people winning big-time dollars. So lots of information on that, Hall of Fame Bets. Okay, go download that app too. National Peanut Day. You can tell how excited we are about football because we just spent the opening 15 minutes talking about football. Oh, man. National Peanut Day, likely originating in South America around 3,500 years ago. This legume is not a nut. Not a nut. Yep. They grow underground like potatoes since they're an edible seed that forms in a pod They belong to the family Leguminosae with peas and beans, not a nut. Nuts grow on trees. How about that? So when you're eating peanuts, you're carbing up, basically.
Hey, I love some good peanuts. Salted peanuts, boiled peanuts, sunflower seeds.
Dude, baseball game peanuts.
Is peanut butter just mashed potatoes by that theory?
No.
I mean, underground like potatoes. It says it right there in the doc.
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. Okay, so there you go. Happy Peanut Day, everyone. On the show, we're going to sub the water cooler debate well, no, we have one. We're just not going to review the other one because I want before we get into football, I want to hear these scumbags try to defend their teams, and we're just going to give them the floor. So then we have tail lines, which you kind of already did. The football buffet DFS Express hype train Thursday and Sunday. We got games coming up, and we have 2 Monday night games. We got the Campus 4. We got a picture for that. We got the How Dare Yous, other relevant sports news, and the Wodamaker, which I think J-Vise did. I don't know. I don't think I want any of them. So unblock us Reddit. Unblock at Reddit's college football. K Adams, stop stealing our stuff. And the Jets, for that matter, now that we know they did the Dark Arena. Okay. Hit the let's get into the water cooler debate segment. But
you serious?
Oh my God, you're an idiot.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, water cooler debate segment. Here we go. We pick a topic. We put the topic on Twitter and Instagram now. And our audience is obviously different.
Yeah.
But at Millie Goats and at the Millie Goats on Instagram. So, but first, the dad joke. What do you call it when a dog finally catches a car?
Fast car.
Stop it, Luke Combs Homer.
Tracy Chapman.
All right, let me start that over. What do you call it when a dog finally catches a car? Fetch 22. Because it doesn't know what to do with it whenever it gets there.
Oh, no.
It's in a dilemma.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Some other polls that we did. Now, we didn't have an episode. You know what? Yeah, let's do this. The other polls that we did were AFC team fan base that should be the most worried. The juggernauts. I put the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Bills. And the Bills smoked it. I mean, it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close.
People have the shortest memory in the history of the world. If you think back to 2021, 2 years ago, we did the same thing in our opening game, except it was at home against the Steelers. We blew it. They came back second half and beat us. J.A. looked the same as he did last week. I mean, it's the same scenario. So people just need to calm down.
So are the Bills stagnant?
Relax.
They stagnant.
He's trying to calm them down.
Have some respect, dude.
I mean, you can't trust J.A. though. I'll say that. Can't trust him. Just can't trust him.
Then I put another one up about which quarterback would be able to catch the number one quarterback in QBR. Does anybody know who the number one quarterback in QBR is?
Brock Purdy is the number one quarterback in QBR. Yeah.
Facts.
Go ahead.
Facts. All facts.
He played a garbage team.
That defense is good now. Don't be saying that. Don't even give it. Went on the road all the way across the country and just blew the doors off the Pittsburgh Steelers and wrecked their entire hype train. So there you go. And then I did another one that was
Kenny Pickett.
So what, dude? Preseason champs. They were the preseason darlings. They're going to break the Ravens streak. The Steelers. We'll get to it. I'm going to go in on them. And then the other one I did was which is more true? Texas is back or Alabama is fading? And Alabama is fading. So Texas can't even win the most.
Yeah, Texas is not back. Texas is going to do Clemsoning, and they're going to lose to like Baylor.
Oh, yes. That's 100% going to happen. But they beat Bama, so
They look good too. Both number zeros for Texas. I think it was a tight end, and then freshman defensive end. Ballers,
Dude,
ballers for Texas.
When Ewers was slinging that thing,
that his arm angles look legit.
Stupid good. Yeah,
that's what they said on the. You remember that tweet I read?
I know. We heard it here first.
What they like.
I feel like
All
he's earning that NIL money.
Yeah, he's got a higher base salary than Joe Burrow right now.
Poor Joe. Poor Joe.
We got that in a minute. All right, this episode's water cooler debate. What is the GOAT most pointless thing or object? I don't even remember who won last. So, J-Bow, you want to go first?
I mean, I'll answer for somebody else. I'll answer for Josh Allen, and the most pointless thing or object is holding on to the football because he just doesn't do it. Leads the league in turnovers since 2018. Leads 39. The league in turnover or picks since 2021. I mean, goodness gracious, can't trust him.
All right. I'll go next. The GOAT most pointless thing or object, and I thought about this whenever I was on the plane, is how adamant they are about a seatbelt on the plane. Like, if we're going down, I don't know how much that's going to do other than saw me in half.
You know what it's for though?
What?
And I only know this because I, been on a lot of planes. Because I asked him one time. It's for when there's turbulence. Sometimes when there's turbulence, I don't know if it's like the gravity or what, but it's to keep you in your seat for the turbulence. Because a lot of people have gone up and hit their head on the roof and gotten injured and tried to sue the airlines and stuff.
Mm. So it's for them, not for us.
Yeah, it's for their. Yeah, it's pointless for us. Yeah.
All right, DYLON.
I'm gonna go with the most pointless thing in popular culture are horoscopes.
That's gonna ruffle some feathers, dude.
I agree with that.
There is complete. Okay, so backstory: when I was a grad student, I was teaching freshman psychology, and one of the topics was pseudoscience and assumptions that we make. So I had everybody in the class turn in their birthday. I told them that I had a friend that was a professional certified astrologer. So I got them. I got 4 different. I picked 4 names at random, and I gave them each their own handwritten one. And I told them to rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, how accurate it was predicting them. What do you think happened?
They all said that this is exactly who they are.
Everybody on a 1 to 10 scale, all 4 of them rated as a 9 out of 10. I told them to hand it to one of the other people. All 4 of them were the exact same. And I picked 4 people that were distinctly different birthdays. It's like that, just how overgeneralizations can be applied to anybody, and yeah. So completely meaningless, pointless.
I was gonna. Was that a learning lesson, or were you just trying to dunk on somebody?
Both. No, I was just trying to go with that. People will believe stuff that's not based on empirical evidence, or not that it's even faith based, but just that it can be this generic, and I can overgeneralize certain things, and it will apply to everybody because it's a psychological construct or whatever. So
that means a lot coming from the Kirk Cousins revivalist.
Yeah. I sent him a text and told him, I'm like, hey man, just go put that ribeye straight on the grill.
Yeah, right, dude. Tinfoil.
Be different.
Aluminum foil. No,
there you go. That's a pointless object. Tinfoil for the grill.
Be different.
There you go.
All right. It is time to get into some football. We got some of that music that won't get us banned.
Hey, well, we won.
Hey, ice cream paint
It's
job
the
or
greatest
whatever
and
that
best
thing is.
sport in the world. To play football.
Play whatever you want.
I always play it.
This song goes out to our true love.
Lead us in.
Football.
The fantasy segment. Football, you're so cool.
All right, well, just give him a taste. Just give him a taste. There you go.
If you want the full version, check out our Twitter page. Okay, here we go. This is all about ours. So these are tail lines. We did those. I have mine left, and then I'm going to give them the floor. So we have a scoreboard we're going to go over. But I got two things. It is not the grass that everybody wants you to believe is causing these injuries. Okay? They all want to make and blame the grass and the turf and the this and the that, whatever. This is my tail line, by the way. It's load management. Plain and simple.
NBA plays on turf.
They wouldn't play. They don't play on those games. But it is egregious to sit there and say that grass and this and all that. Here's the fact of the matter. You cannot not play football at that high of a level and not play the preseason games, not practice full speed, not hit and play and have contact full speed, and then go out there and expect everybody not to get hurt, and then everybody's yelling at the grass like a bunch of jabronis. I have an article right here that has looked at load management. Okay?
But they have stats that show that it is a turf.
Dude, no, of course they
do.
Do.
You have
just
facts?
like the helmet. Like the helmet.
They have the stats. You have the facts.
Here you go. This was a profound. Chronic training workload is important, and its role in keeping athletes injury-free is easily overlooked. Evidence has shown that although spikes in training workload increase the risk of injury, athletes with higher chronic workloads have sufficiently lower risk of injury than athletes with low chronic training workloads. Meaning, if you do not play at a high level all the time, when you have peaks and valleys, you are going to be exposed for more injuries. This is from a stat that is called, what is it? Where is it at? The ACWR ratio, the acute chronic work rate ratio, which has it actually does have a timeline or a bracket of two numbers where it's sufficient. So if you don't do anything, you never play, you fall way below that, but you don't want to overtrain. But if you're not playing, you're going to be at more risk for injury. So you can blame the grass all you want, but it's not the grass. You need to play. You need to practice. Do what?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Probably.
But I think you're right. But I also think that like you wouldn't have torn your ACL because your foot got caught in the turf.
I got hit at a weird angle.
But if it was grass, your foot would have slid out.
Maybe.
Well, wouldn't unless the cleat got stuck. But I think to what you're saying is this whole load management, that it's such a different pace when you're at live action, and the intensity and the adrenaline kicks in, and doesn't adrenaline have like some type of physiological effect on your joints and everything else that you're doing? So if you're not being exposed to that often, your body's all of a sudden in this sudden shock of it, and you're more likely to be prone to injury.
Somebody's feeding these players, hey, you need to take it easy, prolong your career. And all they're doing is exposing them to injury because you can't practice and play at 60% or practice at 60% and then go out there and expect to play at 120%. You just can't do it.
Well,
it's garbage.
I mean, think about too, like how much bigger everybody is. Like I hate that argument, like in basketball, like, well, people were never weren't getting hurt wearing Chuck Taylors. I'm like, yeah, those guys were also 5'6" white boys that weighed 130 pounds.
Right.
And they also weren't dunking on each other and doing all these crazy Euro steps.
We saw it in
and
semi-pro where the alley-oop was born. It was in the ABA.
Like, I mean, these guys playing now are just so much bigger, faster, and stronger. Like, they aren't going to get hurt more.
Even more reason for them to be training at a high intensity so that their body stays used to it. So, and the other thing I had was the Pat McAfee show. I have a theory.
Okay.
I have a theory. The only reason they wanted the Pat McAfee show on ESPN is because ESPN could never really get Aaron Rodgers on their network, and Pat McAfee could. And now they don't have Aaron Rodgers. So their whole ploy, ESPN, up in shambles. Basically, Pat McAfee show is stealing everybody's stuff. The what? That's Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Thunderdome, that was a movie somewhere.
He takes everybody's stuff and just does it louder.
Yeah.
Been saying that for 10 years.
But he's got viewers, and that's what Espen's needing.
Kudos to him. He made it. But
I thought that was, I just started thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, they wanted that, they had an in with Aaron Rodgers like nobody else. And so they were going to get an inside look the whole season and exclusive interviews with Aaron Rodgers because of the Pat McAfee show. And that's probably not going to happen anymore. So they might get canceled. Don't be surprised, folks. Don't be surprised.
Sudden budget cuts mid-season.
Okay. Let's quickly.
Wait, I'll do another one. Go
ahead, dude.
Because I did talk about 8-ball and his strip tackle and his incentives. So know your ball. My other
beyond
one,
ball. Beyond ball.
My other tail line, Josh Allen. Take off your designer tights. Coming out here with holes in the knees, cut up tights like you bought them from American Eagle. Take off your designer tights.
Wow.
Hey, you can put them back on. You got to earn your ripped and shredded tights.
Yeah.
They're like pinstripes.
The JAs, yeah.
All right. Week 1 is in the books. It started with Thursday night. Kansas City loses at home without Kelsey, without Chris Jones, who was weirdly in the stands.
Wearing a Seahawks hat.
Yeah. 21-20, Detroit goes on the road and wins, which was kind of a weird, sloppy game. So that one's in the books. I'm going to give the floor to you two, whoever wants to go first, to defend yourselves and your teams before I go over the full scoreboard. Who wants to go first? Let it all out there.
Go ahead, Dylan. Y'all played first.
Go ahead, dude. Chronological order.
So, despite what you might have seen, the first 3 quarters were outstanding. Going into given that we had turned the ball over 2 times in the red zone, both times actually inside the 15. Now, the thing with the 3 turnovers, and I'll justify it this way, that the first one was from touching on what we talked about a second ago, load management. Kirk Cousins has not live action snap. So has not had didn't step on the field in preseason. That first fumble happened because the right pulling guard went quicker than the ball got, the actual transfer occurred, and his arms pumping to run punched the ball out of Kirk's hand. So it was not like a bad transfer between the center. It was our pulling guard knocking it out of his hands. So definitely a timing thing. Second time, he just got blindsided and dropped the ball on a rollout. And then the interception, so the third turnover in the end zone, in KJ Osborne's hands. This was number 3. In his hands, let the cornerback rip it out of him for the pick. Now, with that being said, my Vikings did do what they needed to do for the DFS fantasy owners, all right? JJ Steele went off. Kurt went off. Jordan Addison, who I told you last week was my guy to pick, because everybody's going to key in on JJ. But our defense did what our defense does in the second half and decided to make Baker Mayfield look like a running back.
You know why?
Trucking our cornerbacks. Because he's got nothing to lose.
Did you hear why?
He's got that dog in him?
No. He knew the signals.
What?
Yeah.
I saw that.
A report came out that Baker said he knew the signals. So he knew what was coming.
Ooh.
Oh.
Now,
a little Houston Astros there.
I don't know. But look, dude, how do you spin zone this into a positive? And I agree with you. The whole timing thing, people not playing preseason, the Eagles look terrible. The Vikings look terrible. Hey, we're not going to play our starters, and then we're going to go out there and get beat by like the Bucks, who played their starters pretty much for 3 quarters. So, but how do you spin zone this for Skull Nation, the registrar of Skull? Come on. Where was Madison, first of all?
Yeah, I played him.
No, well, Kevin O'Connell. So I would recommend not focusing on Alexander Madison, because Kevin O'Connell has made it clear with not re-signing Dalvin that we are going to go to a completely pass-heavy offense. I mean, we invested in Jordan Addison with our number 1 pick. That's where we're going. He wants to throw the ball.
I was thinking he was just going to get some easy tuds, though. Like, you guys working all the way down the field.
He
gets
the ball.
He gets a 2-yard touchdown.
We turned the ball over twice in the red zone. And in the third quarter, probably the most boring third quarter ever, there were 2 possessions, one by the Vikings and one by the Bucks. That was the entire third quarter.
Where's the positive spin that I asked for?
Because Kirk threw for 344.
Okay.
JJ went crazy. Jordan Addison has established the W2. Sorry, KJ. And
that's basically what the same thing as the game you just said. They already had that. Where's the positive? Come on, man.
He didn't get hurt. He didn't get hurt. Everybody said it. He was going to get hurt. He got rocked. He probably is hurt, but he's not injured. So your little pseudoscience, jinx, whatever, didn't work. But I guarantee you, if you say if he gets hurt this week, says I told you so.
Oh yeah, we're not. It doesn't matter. Whenever it happens,
yeah.
It could be 3 years from now.
So, but this going into Thursday, Kurt has a chance to. Everybody says not only did we lose the first game and he looked like he hadn't played in a season, but it's going to be prime time, and he is terrible at prime time games.
Oh no! So you're putting your grow your Fu Manchu out.
Yes. What's his wife going to dress him in?
Yeah. A quick note from Butch P. from beyond the firewall. Vikings start at hard 0-3. Please show up tomorrow. Dadgummit. Can't stand the Spiegels. Lord of the Rings is football. That was Butch P.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Now, so the Vikings lost to the Buccaneers 20-17. That one stings. That was a shocker. Because, hey, by the way, we circled that one on our calendar, our virtual calendar.
You forget this team won the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, you're right. How could I forget? Okay, J-Vi. The Bills go into MetLife. I guess that's what it's called. And their terrible, shardy turf that everybody gets hurt on. And come out not the way you'd hope. So it's your time.
Well, we knew the Bills weren't going to win because there's no way they were going to let a quote-unquote, I'm doing air quotes, New York team lose on 9/11. Just not going to happen. So I knew that going in.
Are the Bills
NFL conspiracy theory.
Bills a New York team?
New York City team.
Okay.
But the ball just didn't fall our way. I mean, great defense, except for, Jordan Poyer hasn't made a tackle since the middle of last season and looks slow out there. Oh my gosh, it's so slow.
Breece Hall I mean, he freaking Wile E. Coyote roadrunnered him when he ran by him. He spun him around in his or Daffy Duck with his beak
Matt
on top.
Milano is a G. Dude's a beast.
Good.
Trey White did a great job, even on the touchdown catch. He played the ball perfectly. Garrett Wilson just made a hell of a catch. Like, you can't be mad at that. But Zach Wilson has our number. He's beat us twice in the last three times we played him.
The only team that he does have the number of.
The only reason they didn't beat us the second game last year is because he got benched. He didn't play.
How bad does he have to feel right now, though, that every single headline is who are the Jets going to sign out of retirement?
Yeah.
Dude, it's got to be Tebow.
But
the dude just won. Literally, he won that game. Aaron Rodgers is out after 3 plays. So, Zach Wilson. All right, y'all want to talk about Baker. Zach Wilson beat the Bills.
And look, the Jets defense is good, but
it's legit.
Josh Allen just played so bad that it made them look even better. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from them because they are good. But, like, if you look at Danny O, he breaks down those games, Orgerspoth or whatever his name is.
Orlovsky?
Yeah, he said there's seven plays that Josh Allen just looked like a complete idiot. Like, 2 of those interceptions, he had 15 yards to run. But I saw they were like, if there was a DB out there or a linebacker out there, he would have ran because he wanted to run over him and make a highlight reel. Like, he just looks for that highlight reel play.
Dude, is he a TikTok quarterback?
Yeah, I would like.
Oh, okay.
You can't trust him. Like, right now, you can't trust him. Look, I'm still going to ride with him because he's my quarterback and he does have spectacular games, but it's just so hard to trust him. You're sitting there clenched the whole time.
Dude, the other thing, you didn't even mention the fumble because you made a funny joke about how he ran into the back of somebody.
Dude, it was like the butt fumble part 2. He went through his hands. He ran straight forward, ran into the back of one of our players and fumbled. The only thing that was different about it was the other team didn't run it back for a touchdown.
Hey, shout out T. Bass from hitting it 3/4 of the way up on a 50-yard field goal.
50-yard field goal at the top of the uprights.
Dude, that was an absolute bomb. Great hold there, too, by 8-ball. Great hold.
Yeah, because it was a bad snap.
It was.
Bad-ish snap.
I watched that game, and it was obviously awesome because it was close. But I'm just sitting there thinking, like, for one, Josh Allen, I don't know if he doesn't trust anybody, but he does not throw the ball to anyone else other than Stephon Diggs.
Well, Gabe Davis
he ran a terrible route on that.
He runs all of his routes like that. His only, like, when he gets open, it's a post or a fade. Like,
yeah, he doesn't have to make a move.
Yeah, he runs all of his routes like that. There's no cutting. There's no juking. It's a rounded turn.
They are giving their faith in the offense to the wrong person. It should be in James Cook because that dude's got some juice.
Yeah, but it's just we don't have a running game. Like, we're not built to run the ball.
And from a DFS perspective, like, I don't know who your number 1 tight end is. So
I would go with Kincaid.
Right, but on the depth chart, and Dallas Knox, just going back last season, like, he'll have 4 or 5 primetime games where he's going to go for over 100. But Kincaid...
Yeah, you know who it is when the Bills are playing on a primetime game. It's Diggs and Allen. It's going to be one of them. Sometimes both, but if it's not both, they're pretty easy to figure out. It's not going to be. They only have like 3 or 4 dudes that you can pick from. The Jets are the one I didn't know, but I played Breece Hall and cashed on that lineup because I was like, he's just too good, and the Bills really can't stop the run.
Yeah.
Figured everybody would be playing Dalvin, and Breece Hall was like 2% captain ownership, so that's how I cashed on Monday.
A little leverage there for you. Should have captained.
But hey,
Aaron Rodgers.
There's a bright spot. There's 2 bright spots.
Yeah, spin zone it for us.
I'll quote Butch P on this every Thursday when we're flipping out.
Texas calling in.
It's day 1. So it's week 1. That's my one spin zone. My other spin zone was there's no better way for my son to watch his first Bills game and see them collapse like that to know what he's got a lifetime to witness.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is the first thing that I told my girls.
That's the real baptism right there.
The first Vikings game was, you're going to understand what disappointment is and build resiliency.
That's what I said.
Because this is what it is. But we are loyal to our grandfather and their great grandfather. So that's where we're going. But before Tex chimes in, as we get into this, I heard a new term that I think is huge for anybody that's doing fantasy or whatever. And the term is anchor bias. So everybody is going to look back to what happened last week to base all their judgments.
Can't do that.
It's like, don't do that. Like your primetime stars that might not have been really good in week one, that doesn't mean that they're not going to hit their average or more this next week. So don't just go, everybody is going to make most of their decisions based off of, oh, this team did really bad last week or this team did really good.
You'll see that when we get to our dude, first of all, when we get to our games, you'll see a little bit of that technique in our picks, at least for me. Okay, so we had the Steelers took on the Niners. I don't really need to get into a lot of detail. That was an absolute molly-whopping. The Niners held them to 1 yard the entire first half until their final drive. They didn't have a first down. Brock Purdy had the highest QBR in the league. Christian McCaffrey was out there doing spin moves and pirouettes.
Dude, that run that he had was ridiculous.
The best part about that run,
Ayuk's block,
dude, absolutely flat backed him, and then ran down there and blocked another guy.
Yeah,
Ayuk is put a D on his jersey. Put a D on Ayuk's jersey.
I know, and you had me playing Debo. If I would have played him, don't get me started.
We all played Debo, but it's because Debo is always so cheap. You cannot play him.
Dude, you cannot play him. But, I mean, you're not going to know to play on a week. You can play McCaffrey every week. But the 49ers, dude, Fred Warner at the middle linebacker position, him and Dre Greenlaw, I mean, they run the Tampa 2 coverage, and Fred Warner is all over whoever's going up the seam.
Dirty player.
Step for step. And Hufanga, I mean, it's the weak spot is the one cornerback position, but Charvarius Ward's good, but Trent Williams went down. But I mean, it was just from top to bottom, from start to finish. They went up and down the field however they wanted to. Brock Purdy looked efficient. He threw for like 220 some yards, 2 tutties. I mean, he looked good. I'm not saying MVP, but I might have to
put a future on it.
I might have to put a little something on that because the way he's looking, it gets me fired up. Coming off an elbow surgery, out there throwing with some zip on the ball, like they just smothered the Steelers. It was the Steelers' offense. I don't know what they're doing. It's so predictable. Yeah. Hey, shout out Patrick Peterson for saying they've got some tails, so we got something for him. You don't have diddly poo, Patrick Peterson. Brandon Ayuk walked the dog all over you. You get the reverse dog. You get a C for cat on your shirt.
Dude, how about that? That was like Jamar Chase too. Called the Browns a bunch of elves, and then the Browns beat him. He's like, "Now I'm just mad because I called them a bunch of elves, and they can't beat us. We got beat by a bunch of elves."
All right. So Niners win 30-7. Vikings lose 2017. Commanders barely beat the Cardinals. I watched some of that game. Sam Howell was okay. Colts and Jags. Any thoughts from that game? Quickly.
Calvin Ridley.
Dude. I was surprised that I thought I know Ridley's good. I thought he was good. I was surprised at how much he got.
That throw by Lawrence to Zay Jones and the catch.
Yes. Played Zay Jones, played him.
Shane Steichen's going to be able to do some stuff with Richardson.
Yeah. Captain Kirk for the Jags. So Chris Kirk, that's one of those anchor bias that, is he going to have a down year just because, he only got a few targets? It's like, no, T-Law is going to get it to him. People will start keying in on Calvin Ridley. Kirk's going to average is 12.5 to 15 points a game. So
dude, if they can protect T-Law, Jags are going to be good.
Yeah.
Etienne's good out of the backfield. Ingram's good tight end. They got three receivers.
The Chiefs it might be 0-2 because they got.
Yeah.
Don't they go to Jacksonville?
I don't know about that.
I think it's
probably
this week.
not. The Chiefs play everybody at home all the time. They never
No, they're
have a road
at
game.
Jacksonville this week.
they are. Yep.
Bills are at the Chiefs for the 6th straight year.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's like the Niners when we played the Saints all the time. I feel like we were always playing in New Orleans. I'm like, this is dumb. I don't get it. Ravens, dude. I didn't get to watch Lamar, but from your text messages, J-Vi,
he started terrible.
it wasn't looking good.
No.
Or J.K. Dobbins, too.
I know.
Saints beat the Titans, and oddly enough, Tajay Spears out-snapped Derrick Henry, and Tannehill looks like an absolute dumpster fire.
Dude, but how about Rashid?
Hey,
I didn't even know who it was. I'm like, who is this number 22 running around?
Rashid,
wasn't he like 85 last year, 86?
I'd never heard his number.
Dude, we had been I was all over him last year.
We were on him last year.
I played him all the time. Rashid, because he is a blade. Did you see the highlight from Derek Carr? He's like, just go.
Yeah.
Just
go.
go.
He's high on him too. So
I commented on one of his tweets with the gift that just goes she. That's what Derek Carr called it. Oh, love that. Yeah, he's a baller. Browns go.
They got the
at
Chiefs
home
numbers
with Brownie, the elf. Burrow throws for like 80 yards. Since he loses 24-3, but I mean that's just how Cincinnati starts
every year.
Yeah,
I think the Browns are like the Jets are for the Bills. Like they have Bengals number. They beat them. Burrow's like 1-5 against them.
Yeah, it was terrible weather there too. But the Browns defense with Schwartz, whatever his name is Myles Garrett's out there doing crossovers before the snap, like imaginary
and
crossovers and stuff. They got some players on there, dude. I think the Browns defense is going to be for real. Falcons beat the Panthers. Drake London, nothing. Kyle Pitts basically wide open all over the place. And we told you, Tyler Algier, we said it last week. Put your BS in too. Dude, Bijan's good, but
they basically ran him like a flex. They didn't. I didn't hardly see. I mean, I was just watching Red Zone, but every big play they showed with him, he was like in motion slot.
It's like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. It's going to be the same type of offense.
Yep. I think that, and I got it later on, but Bijan ended up only getting okay. All right, we'll get into it, but
save it.
Yeah, flex.
Teaser. Rams. Holy moly, what was this all about? Rams beat the Seahawks 30-13. Holy moly.
Looks like LA got a defense, or is that anchor bias? And then
Jordan Love. God, dude, Justin Fields so bad. He holds on to the ball. The Bears lose 20-38 to Green Bay.
Bears upgraded their defense with Tremaine Edmonds, though.
Yeah, well, Jordan Love, unfortunately. Yeah. But Justin Fields got to get rid of the ball, period. He cannot. Everybody's like, he doesn't have any playmakers.
That's his MO.
No. When a screen pass doesn't go 80 yards for a touchdown, he's standing back there patting the ball like he's making,
That's why he got beat out by Jake Fromm.
Yeah, State Farm. Chargers Chargers lose to Miami 36-34. That
was a fun game.
That was a fun game. I heard the stat that the Chargers ran man coverage like 70% of the time. It's like, why would you run man coverage against Tyreek Hill?
Dude, nobody can guard him.
At least if he gets off the line cleanly, it's like a 40-50 yard play. What are you doing? So, anyways, Jimmy G takes the Raiders into Denver and leads a game-winning drive, 17-16. He's still at it, dude.
Hey, they play the Bills this week.
Eagles looking sloppy against the Patriots. That That was they did not look good. Their offense did not look good. They win 25-20 over New England. And then the Cowboys Sunday night with one of the worst games I've ever witnessed in my life.
Dude, it was so bad.
I mean, from the get-go. I don't know whether to take away like the Giants are frauds or Dallas is just that good.
I think it's a little. I think it's a little bit of both.
I think it's a breakdown a lot of the Giants' offensive line, but at the same time, Dallas's D is just amazing. I only saw probably, I don't know, maybe 65-70% of the game, but they were coming after Dak. Dak was terrible. He's a scumbag.
Dude. And, of course, in DFS DraftKings fashion, Dallas defense was like the number one scoring fantasy player on the week.
Yeah, because of return, the kick, block kick.
Primetime games. What have we learned? Was there a defensive touchdown on every primetime game? I'm pretty sure there was. Thursday night, Detroit.
Yeah.
Sunday night, Dallas. Monday night, the Jets.
Yeah.
Put that in your tickler file.
What I tell you, what you asked me to Monday morning, like, what do you think? Who you playing? And I showed you my lineup, and I said, if I was going to make another one, I would captain the Jets D.
You did.
I told you that.
It's documented. Check the tape. Okay. That's a quick recap. We'll do more on Sunday when we're back on our regular schedule. This Thursday, tomorrow, Philadelphia, the Eagles host the Minnesota Vikings in a Thursday night showdown. I don't know if this is on Prime or not, but get ready for all your group messages to be ruined in your DraftKings lineups and your fantasy apps telling you what's going on before the play happens because everybody hates streaming. Over-under is 49. That's what I had a couple hours ago, and the spread was Philly favored by 7. So the primetime man-dime hot guys. DYLON, this is your team. This is your game. And what are you doing?
So I've got a couple lineups in here, but I'm going to go with my dark horse. So I think JJ is going to get you his points. Between Devonta and AJ, I don't know. Last time the Vikings played him, Devonta scored. I want to say that's when he had 2 touchdowns and like 136 yards. But it's the secondary is all questionable. So, like I said, we've got 2 rookies in our starting 4 DBs. So I'm afraid that we are going to back more people out of the box to try and compensate for the Goddards and Browns and Devontaes of the world. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift because I think we're going to pull too many out that he's going to end up having his game, especially with Gainwell out. So he's my dark horse that's going to go big. In my 2 lineups, I've got Hawkinson captain in 1, and then I've got Devontae captain in 1. But
Homer.
I got Jalen and Kurt in both of them as well because I have a feeling that, and I terribly missed it last week on the over-under. I'm not going to say that we're going to cover the spread, but I wouldn't be surprised if we are over, especially with how sloppy Philly's defense looked this past Sunday. They got away with a couple. So,
dude, and you're talking about New England torching Philadelphia's secondary with Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne and whatever that Butte guy's name is. Hunter Henry had a big game. So yeah, it I don't know what's wrong with Philly's secondary, if that is the problem, but Mac Jones should not be throwing for 300 and some odd yards against you with Kendrick Bourne. So that's a little tickler there.
So so I'm thinking it's going to be that we'll cover the over on the spread, which I think you said 49. I think I got it at like 48 or something. But anyhow,
it's moved some.
I think it's going to be the defensive secondary is going to show up on either team.
Well, you got to think too. I mean, it's first game that they all have played together. New defensive coordinator against Bill Belichick, who's had 6 months to prepare. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'd expect them to be better this week.
Yeah, at home too.
I'm
at home.
I feel like in all the close-ups of Kirk on the sideline last week, like I'm sure he's done a lot of introspection, internalization of, man, I wish I had got some preseason snaps in to get these timings down.
Instead of growing his mustache on the sideline.
Yeah.
J-Vi, do you think the Vikings win, Dylon?
I want the Vikings to win.
Dude, it's an automatic yes.
Come on, dude.
Your team. It's your team.
Yeah, no, I want them to win. Yeah, statistically, I don't know. It's because it's primetime Kurt. I don't know. It's
true. Primetime Kurt.
And I got the Chargers next week, and then the week after that, I got the Panthers. So I'm feeling really good about week 4.
Kirk Cousins should just show up to the stadium with like an aluminum
Vikings
suit.
fan should have heard my
the most honest Vikings fan. I think it will come down to a 1-score game. How about that?
Did you say you should show up in an aluminum foil suit?
Yes. Because he's about to cook them.
Oh, we got to write that down. That's funny. All right, J-Vi, what do you got?
I'm going with Hawkinson. He had a decent game last week, and it's just a gut feel. Like,
dude,
JJ's going to get his points. The Eagles guys are going to get their points, and it's like for the Eagles, it's too much of a guessing game on who's going to really blow up. So I just feel like Hawkinson's a safe bet. Captain, pretty cheap. You can build a good lineup around it.
The linebackers for the Eagles are in shambles. Nakobe Dean's and I think he's
hurt.
So, yeah. So, and
who do you think wins the game, J-Vi? You're unbiased. Eagles or the
I think the Eagles win the game.
We're not unbiased. We're always going to say the Vikings.
For your sake, I hope the Vikings win. I like chaos, but I think the Eagles win.
Oh my gosh!
But I think I think it's close.
I've got Devontae Smith, 13-5 in your captain spot, 9,000 in your flex. I just think it's too. What I should have done is put one of the defenses. That's what we should have done. That's what it's
like. I don't think it's going to be a defensive game. Neither one of us has a good secondary. Like our cornerbacks can't cover anybody past, I would say, about 7 or 8 yards.
That's what I thought about Detroit and Kansas City. And what do you know? One of the defense. Yeah. So, shout out Blake Bell last week, who I said in the message. I was like, it's probably going to be Blake Bell or something. But Devontae Smith had 10 targets in game 1. I think they're going to hyper target him. I think he's going to be the guy for the offense tomorrow night. I don't know who. I would assume the Eagles are going to win, but if I had to bet, but I think it'll be closer than. I think it'll be a 1-score game at least. If that gives you any.
Yeah, I think it'll be close.
So there you go. We got Devontae Smith,
12 targets.
Hawkinson, Swift is our primetime man dime hot guys. There you go. That's the Thursday night game. Everybody, hope your group chats don't get ruined because of the streaming. Okay, now we move into the games we like on the mainscaping Sunday slate. There's only one game with 50 points over under. That's KC and Jacksonville. And we know everybody's going to be playing that game, but we're not going to give you that game. All right? Yes, play your Trevor Lawrence, play your Pat Mahomes, blah, 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 whatever. We're going to give you some other games, right? You got Packers at Falcons, Ravens at Bengals, Raiders at Bills. Is this first home game for the Bills?
Yeah.
All right. Bears at Bucks, Chargers at Titans, Chiefs at Jags, Seahawks at the Lions, Colts at the Texans, Giants at the Cardinals, Niners at the Rams, Jets at the Cowboys. That's going to be a massacre. Commanders at the Broncos, and then the Sunday night game is Dolphins and Patriots, which is kind of intriguing. Most of the spreads are within like 5. Within 5, 5 to 6 and less. And the only one that's outrageous is the Jets and Cowboys. So over-unders are really low again because nobody knows what to do early on based off of what we saw. So those are your games. J-Bow, what's a game you like other than the KC and Jacksonville game?
So it's funny because I think DraftKings sent out an email a couple weeks ago about your 2022 review and what teams you played the most and who you played the most. And my team that came up that I played the most was the Detroit Lions. And I did the most stacks with the Lions. I played the Lions players the most. So I'm staying true to
jersey.
I'm staying true to fashion. My game this week, because I think it's going to be air raid offenses. Detroit versus Seattle. 47, Detroit favored by 6. But my guy I'm playing is Montgomery because Detroit is the king of get it to the 2, run it in.
Is this? Oh, that's
in
Bears.
Detroit.
Okay. I was going to say, I was like, wait a minute, Montgomery plays for the Lions now.
Yeah.
He was a Bear.
Yep.
Okay. All right. David Montgomery. He had a nice game. I'm going to call you out, dude. I think Jahmyr Gibbs gets more.
He probably gets more catches, yards, but he's not going to score. Montgomery's going to be the guy that scores. Like last
year. Do you think it's gonna be the pound-in touchdown?
Yeah,
you don't think it's gonna be
you play Miles Sanders
or anything like that?
Vital Gonzo Gore's back. Hey, remember from the
game time?
Who's Detroit's other running back? Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. What's up, dude? Vital Gonzo Gore.
Who you got?
Me?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to the dude, you guys know me. Y'all know me. I am a dude who loves to get down and dirty in the the stuff like way down there in the price range. Like I went down there and found Tutu Atwell. I played a couple other 3,000 guys last week just because I love finding those diamonds in the rough. That's why they called me Aladdin in college.
No, nobody called you that.
Yeah, it is John Mark, dude.
Oh.
You used to call me that all the time.
You just made up a guy with 2 first names.
Dude, give me the sludge. Give me down there in the sewers. Give me the game that I like in my primetime man dime hot guys. Houston hosting Indianapolis. This is a game, for me at least. We saw the Colts go up and down the field. Now, the Texans struggle, but they're going to be at home, right? I think this is an over-under at 40. Indianapolis is favored by 1.5. I think it's going to go way more than that. I honestly really do. So I think you're going to want to.
Up though.
Richardson is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if he plays, that's a big if. He's a guy that can have a monster day with Shane Steichen dialing that thing up. So I think there's a potential to play a little Richardson lineup, bring it back with a little Nico Collins. Because Nico Collins is CJ. I think this 40 is way too low for this. Now, we could be looking back at this and saying you're a complete idiot. But guess what? I don't care. Because that's what it takes, dude. It takes
because on the reverse, if it's great, then we're going to hear all week. I called it.
Yes, you absolutely will. So, but I love because it's 2 young quarterbacks. Nobody knows what to expect. They're setting it at 40, and it's like I just watched the Colts against a pretty good team.
2 worst
put up
teams
21.
last year.
Do what?
So 2 worst teams last year.
Yeah, and I'm like, Houston gave Baltimore game for all better purposes. Like they were competitive. So, and DeMeco Ryans is a good coach. So I like that game. All right, DYLON.
Apart from the Vikes, I would go with. I'm looking at the division rivalry between Baltimore and Cincinnati, And the big thing is just because of how atrocious Joe Burrow. And I think that the inner fan in me wants me to see Joe Burrow do awesome this week and Kirk do great, so I can just say it was the week 1 jitters, and it'll just add more to the point that you need to see some live action before you go live. That it, whatever. But there's too much talent on the Bengals side with Joe Mixon and Jamar and Taj. Like, there's, for Joe Burrow to throw for 82 yards,
not going to happen again.
Absolutely absurd. And when you watched him going in, it looked like he couldn't go into like the 3 or 5 step drop. I'm not a quarterback, but he looked awkward taking snaps. Like he was surprised when he was getting snapped the ball the first 2 series.
You don't think he was ready to come back?
He's got that
don't know.
Calf injury. And
yeah,
Aaron
strained
Rodgers
his calf.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers had a calf injury. So, Bengals
question though,
careful.
is this must win for Cincy?
No, nope.
It's got to be. No. I think it has to be competitive. If it is another blowout, no. Yeah. Well, yeah, but at least if you see that you can play with the Ravens, right? And I think that Gus Edwards is my dark horse in this game because with Dobbins out, they're already saying, hey, we're going to give him the workload. He averaged over 5 yards a carry for the last 4 seasons. He's just always kind of been the RB2. So I think that Gus is going to have a big game. But I want to see Joe do well. They've surrounded him with players.
Love Gus Edwards, dude, the Gus bus. Here's a question from Vital Gonzo Gore. I have Bengals as AFC North winner in the FanDuel parlay. Is going to hedge with the Ravens. But is it Browns?
Ooh.
I don't think the Browns can sustain it all year. I think they're going to surprise some people. They're going to win some games that you wouldn't expect the Browns to win because I think they're better than what they normally are. I just don't think when you're not used to winning, it's hard to win.
Yeah.
Like I say that about the Bills all the time. Like we're so not used to winning that it's just like it's hard to win games sometimes.
I think if you want value, you put it on the Steelers.
The Steelers aren't winning that division.
I'm just saying. I
think it's a must-win for the Bengals. You can't start 0-2 in the division.
You can go Sonic the Hedgehog and Knuckles and Tails and Dr. Robotnik and get that. Just sprinkle a little bit on there.
Here's where, if they go in and they shut out Kenny Pickett, because I'm not gonna play down the Niners D, but the Steelers got mollywopped. He had no time in the pocket. Everything was roll out. So if it comes down and you see that Cleveland is able to put that same pressure on him, and let's just say they keep Burrow to under 200 yards again, like I think you could say, just like with the college football predictions, like their defense is that good if they're not going to allow some of these crazy playmakers to do anything.
I believe in the Steelers because Tomlin's never had a losing season. Y'all ever heard that before?
Yeah.
So Houston and Indianapolis, Detroit and Seattle. I like that one. And I like Cincy and Baltimore. I like all those. Everybody, again, KC and Jack, everybody's going to stack that. And it was kind of like the same with Los Angeles and Miami this past week. It was like, that's the game you need to play. Everybody's going to play. You better have one.
See, I don't like games like Jacksonville and the Chiefs because there's too many options. Like,
yeah,
I like picking games that, like, I know who's going to get the ball. I know who's going to be the target. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Houston and Indy, like, you can.
Yeah. 3 guys on that field that are decent.
Yeah. So, anyways. All right. Now, last week we gave you Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Los Angeles, Chicago and Green Bay, Los Angeles and Miami. Like, with the exception of Minnesota and Tampa Bay, that was kind of a troll job, and that was hilarious because it worked. The other 3 games all right, let's get into the guys we like for the Sunday slate outside of the games. Last week we had QBs. I gave you QBs. J-Vi gave you wide receivers. Tex gave you a defense and some defenses and special teams. And then Butch P gave you Bijan Robinson as his running back who had a decent game. And then DYLON was our tight ends guy. But I think he's stepping away from that this week. So I'll go first. Here's my two guys that I like. Josh Allen, revenge game against the Raiders. I think he is going to go nuclear against the Ravens. I think he's going to throw for like 300. Now, conversely to what J-Bot said, my most played team, I can't believe we didn't bring this up, was the Buffalo. I played them more than any other stack, any other team, whatever.
You're a closet Bills fan.
Oh, my God. My mom's a Bills fan. What can I say?
But you couldn't stack Diggs. That's too expensive, right?
Subconscious. No, dude, I stacked him and Diggs all the time. I'm a bottom feeder, dude. I go down there and find all the values. Didn't work.
If you captain somebody low, you can play those big guys.
So I'm giving you Josh Allen at 7,900 revenge game. I think everybody is calling him out, and he might have 400 yards total offense and 4 or 5 touchdowns. They might beat him by 30. I'm not kidding.
Let's hope so.
So, in my other one, which I played last week, is Baker Mayfield against, I think, Chicago. Yeah, they play Chicago, and Jordan Love smoked Chicago. So I think you could play Baker Mayfield here. And the guys I gave you last week were Tua, because he's dominant on the road, and the other guy I gave you was Jordan Love, if you remember. So those two guys were pretty good quarterbacks in DFS. That's my quarterbacks for this week. J-Vi, wide receivers.
So I went low on the wide receivers too. And I can't believe that.
Love it.
My first guy, how do you say his name? Nukua?
Yeah.
For the Rams?
Puka.
Yeah. I think he's gonna have a very high percentage on this week. So take that for what it's worth. But at 4,900, him being Coop's replacement or Cup's replacement, like, I don't know. You gotta, I don't know. Just take a look at him. You know, my other guy is who you have as a hot guy in your game of the week, Nico Collins. He was at Michigan when I did a project, All or Nothing for Amazon with Michigan. He was a freshman then, and he would climb the ladder, go get balls. You're like, this kid's gonna be good. And it's taken him a little bit, and I think some of it is he hasn't been on a good team or had a good quarterback. But in games like this, I like him, and he's cheap, 4,800. My other guy played him last week, Josh Reynolds, Detroit.
Yep.
Hey, Ra-Ra's going to get his touches, probably get his points, but Detroit spreads it around. Goff throws that ball around. And at 3,700, worth a shot. It's game of the week.
Now, come on now. That's nice. That's nice. I love me some Josh Reynolds. He was involved, dude.
Yeah.
He was involved heavily.
And I think you got to take advantage of it before Jameis Williams gets back.
Yeah, that's nice. All right. I'm going to give you a defense. I don't know if you guys have looked. The Jets. 2,700 on the road. Mr. INT. You bet your bottom dollar.
Look what they did to Josh Allen.
That's what I'm saying. That defense travels. Down there at 2,700. I'm just saying. Like that is there you go, Vital Gonzo Gore. I like that. He is a deep threat for sure. He's got a lot of most. I can't remember the percentage of his passes that he caught that were downfield. It was something like 50 or 60. It was something crazy. But I'm telling you right now, Jets defense. I'm just throwing that out there. All right, Dylon, go ahead.
All right, so I took the running backs because the tight ends weren't very fun, and Butch P isn't here. So I did more research on the running backs too. Tight ends kind of let me down last week. I'm gonna go with number one. He's 8,000, so he's expensive, but I'm going with Saquon. I think he's gonna have a bounce back game. He's not playing the Dallas D. In fact, he's playing against the Cardinals D, which I think that franchise is kind of like always playing for a draft pick at this point. trying to figure out what they have. You got Josh Dobbs as a quarterback, and you're wondering what's going on. So I think that this is Saquon's gonna have one of his 120 plus games. They also gave up 122, or no. So my other guy is Algier for Atlanta against Green Bay. So going into, and this is what I was talking about earlier with Bijan. Bijan is going to be that flex guy. I think he got targeted 6 times, but he only got 10 carries. Algier is the ground and pound in for Atlanta. He got 5 more carries, and he still got, I think it was either 3 or 4 targets. So when it gets into that red zone, well, really inside the 10, I just see they're going to stick to that run game right now. I think that they ran it 30 some times on Sunday. So yeah, Algier and Saquon, my running back picks.
They are going to use Saquon for sure. They're not going to have another. It's either going to be Danny Dimes running it or it's going to be Saquon running it for sure.
Dude, they going to get ball out of Danny Dimes' hands.
Yeah, that is absolutely.
Hey, I can jump in and do a tight end right quick if you want.
Dude, yes, I was looking through those too.
And I'll do it, and I'm just going to say this because they are my team. Look for Kincaid this week because, like you said, like Diggs is their only option. Diggs is their only option on the short routes because Gabe Davis is just going long. So I think they're going to use Kincaid more this week on hitches, slants, quick, maybe a tight end screen or something that just get them some targets. Move the chains.
I'm gonna push against. I'm gonna say Dallas Knox is gonna get more targets.
Dawson.
Yeah, Dawson.
Yeah. I think it's right, Dawson.
Yeah, it's Dawson.
It is. It's Dawson. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so there you go. Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Puka, Nico Collins, Josh Reynolds. Who's the Jets defense? Because bet your bottom dollar nobody's playing them. Nobody. That ownership might be low. And then Algier, and then Saquon. Were your 2 running backs, and then we had Kincaid is the tight end. Another tight end I was going to throw out there, just for gits and shiggles. Throw yourself a little Irv Smith.
No, I won't. I will never drink Irv Smith Kool-Aid. Mr. Butterfingers, man.
I'm just saying, dude, when Joe Burrow goes off. So, all right, there you go. So that's Thursday and Sunday, and we're gonna put these. I'll screenshot these and get the pictures and put up our stuff on the Twitter. So be looking for that and then you can roast us, or we can laugh in everybody's faces. Ooh, Gerald Everett, I see Vital Gonzo Gore. Yeah, I like Gerald Everett there.
Ingram from Jacksonville.
Yes, and Darren Waller. Darren Waller's
he's hurt. He's gonna. I'm not gonna trust him. He's hurt.
You can. What I was gonna say is you can maybe play Bellinger. Tight end for the Giants, backup. But if somebody's hurt, people are gonna flock to those. Like the tight end for Denver's gone. He's out, so people are gonna be playing Adam Troutman.
Yeah,
that's a leverage. All right, Miami at New England. 2.5 line or 2.5 spread, over under 46.5. So not much to say about that.
This divisional game, like I don't think Miami's going to do what they did last week.
Defense.
100%. I think. Well, I think the opposite. I believe that Tua is going to throw for 300 plus.
It's a primetime game. We just said the defense had a touchdown in every primetime game. That's stupid. All right. NFL news.
How dare you? Oh yeah, you go through some of those. You got some cool stuff.
Real quick, Java, I know you wrote some of those.
Yeah, I was just writing stuff throughout the weekend. Niners got a new boombox guy for the first time.
Hey, let's go, baby.
Their walkout boombox holder is a new guy this week. So I wrote it down because if they would have slipped, that would have been my first question.
Hey, can he handle being the DJ? That's a lot of pressure.
It is. Burrow got paid and stunk, which we talked about. Yep. Interesting fact for this week, though. Purdy versus Stafford.
Oh, I like this.
First time ever a number one pick has played Mr. Irrelevant. Quarterback. Number one quarterback versus Mr. Irrelevant.
Ooh. I like that.
Yeah. So interesting tidbit about that game. Also dealing with number one overall picks. I wrote this down because I thought that the Panthers were going to upset the Falcons. Bryce Young would have been the first number one quarterback to win his first game since David Carr in 2002.
David Carr.
So no first overall picked quarterback has won their first game since 2002, over 20 years.
That's wild.
But
where you find these, like Reddit, or did you just
was David Carr? Was it with the Panthers? Was that his first team?
It was Houston.
Houston Texans. I think he was their first pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
football guys.
Another one. I wrote this wrong. The Packers actually lose 2 in this Aaron Rodgers injury because they only get a second round pick now because he's not going to play in 65% of the games.
And he was guaranteed $78 million.
You know what the Packers should do is take a wide receiver with that pick.
That would be good.
Oh, jeez. I wrote this one. Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Have y'all seen this?
No. I know that's a...
He keeps calling him Skip on air. He went, now Skip. And then he just put his head down and went, he like hung his head for like 10 seconds like this. And Stephen A. is going, it's okay. It's okay. 7.5 years you spent with that man. And like gave him like a, he kept calling him Skip on air.
That's hilarious. That's the only way they're going to argue. They have the same opinions.
I know. They're both used to yelling a Skip. But Stephen A. is on the defense. Don't worry. He's been taking to Twitter. So, 2 Monday Night Football games. Usually it's on week 1, which I thought was weird.
Hey, they didn't want to take it away from the Bills, Jets. Aaron Rodgers.
Nope. Well, all right. Let's get into some How Dare Yous. Hit that thing.
How dare you? How dare you?
How dare me? How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you, sir? You're gross.
How dare you?
How dare yous? This segment's brought to you by Really Neat Outfitters. You can see it on my hat. We're gonna have shirts and all kinds of things coming out. Promo code GOATS. Spend $60, get free shipping, 10% off your order at checkout. At Really Neat Outfitters, our passions are family, salty air, and smiles. Coastal flair, Carolina roots make our designs as original as every DraftKings lineup we make and ultimately lose with. But not this week. We're gonna win the Millie. How dare yous? J-Vi.
I've been hammering on it all show. And as I said, I'm still going to ride with him because he's my quarterback. But my how dare you this week, Josh Allen.
Get him.
And it's not about the game. It's about after the game. When you come to the press conference and you say, I just got to get better. I got to protect the ball. I know it's me. But you still don't fix it. So how dare you for leading us on? We need some proof in the pudding. We want to be able to trust you again. We know you can do it. So let's see it.
Put your money where your designer tights are. All right, here's mine. How dare you, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, have to go under anesthesia to get a leg tattoo for like 6 hours? If that's not the most I'm not a dude move ever, you don't deserve the tattoo. I'm sorry. I mean, you got a leg sleeve. I mean, you should have just gotten like Josh Allen did and get some designer leg tattoos on your legs.
Okay.
Like you can't go under. Dude, you can't go under for a tattoo. That's not how it works.
Especially a leg tattoo. That's like a statement piece.
Right. The whole point of a tattoo is to say, I endured this because it meant a lot to me. That's all I need to know about. Hey, man, that's all I need to know about your quarterback, Dallas Cowboys fans. He's not willing to risk it. He's not all in. What is he willing to give up? He's not taking the stairs because he's asleep. He's got a leg tattoo. I don't care about a leg tattoo, but you can't go to sleep during a leg tattoo. All right, DYLON.
My how dare you goes out to, and I'm not going to generalize it to every Georgia high school football program, but my daughter goes to a high school that's got about 2,400 students, so it's a big high school in Georgia. The football team is well funded, training facility and everything. So, couple things. One, I would expect at a school like this, I went to my first high school football game that my daughter wanted to go and watch this past Friday. First time I've been to one in 18 years. And we go, and they've got a Jumbotron. The school mascot is the Raiders, so they actually have a pirate ship with a real Confederate cannon that is big enough for all sorts of little kids to play on. But the stadium was probably at like 40% filled. And I remember when we were in high school, it was full on both sides. So you could have probably taken the visitor section and the East Paulding section and put them together, and it still would not have equated to how many people we would have at a small town high school game in North Carolina. So that's one. But the bigger thing is they now have rules and cops there to enforce the rules that the students cannot be under the bleachers or loitering. They have to be in line at a concession stand or at a bathroom. And it is heavily enforced. And I was there, and I'm thinking, when I was in the 6th or 7th grade,
I don't know, back in my day,
the only reason that we would go to a high school football game was to hang out with our friends under the bleachers.
Yep.
And now these kids cannot even do that. Like, can you not remember, like, in 6th or 7th grade, you get a girlfriend, you break up with her in the 3rd quarter, and then you get a new girlfriend. Like, that was part of going through school. And this is a problem with our kids today.
They can't
even hang out. And to the point, like,
they can't get girlfriends.
They have these rules posted all around the stadium, and the cops at every entrance to the bleachers will sit there and, hey, rule 3, and point to it that says no loitering. All students must be. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Wow.
It's not like it's a safe. Well, they claim that it's a safety thing, but there's not enough people there for it to be unsafe.
Wow. That's a good one.
So how dare you, East Paulding High School Recreation? I don't know what they are, but ridiculous rules. You are taking away part of the social aspect of high school football games.
Dude, for real. That's a shame. That's tragic to hear. Like you said, that was a big bonding.
Yeah.
Jay, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, dude, you were like in a.
How's it reading?
Yeah. Dude, those are good. How dares. Butch P had one from the rafters. The Raiders had 1st and goal at the 1 and never handed to Jacobs the ball. NFL on the business side for the RBs. So he's how daring the NFL because it ruined probably his DraftKings.
Dude, that's the Raiders' MO.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy G, dude. You don't need to throw it. Okay. College football, big 3, and our college football playoff bracket. Don't sleep on them game real quick. South Carolina, UGA. UGA does not look very good. I'm just saying.
South Carolina did not either.
Yeah, they do.
They haven't either. So 2 bad SEC teams. SEC continues to get dog walked in every non-conference versus a Power 5 opponent. They're like 1-5 now.
That game right there, though, is a game that my wife always brings up because she went to UGA. And she said it didn't matter how good we were, number one team in the country. We always lost to USC.
I remember that game at whenever we were at App.
Yeah.
Alshon Jeffrey, football guys. My game with that dog in it is Virginia Tech and Rutgers. Rutgers is 2-0. Could be 3-0 when they play Michigan next week.
Mike
So
Shalani?
Rutgers is going to be, let's put a D on that game, dog.
Okay.
So Rutgers could be 3-0 playing Michigan. And then my playoff model jump is BYU at Arkansas. Arkansas wins, we'll throw an SEC school in the top four. Go ahead, J-Bye. Oh, you had that one too?
Yeah, so your playoff model game is my don't sleep on them game. And I think both these teams get overlooked early in the season. But both of them have won their last 5 games. They're both rolling. And Arkansas is really good in the early season. Then when they get deep in the SEC play, they start falling off. Just because I don't think their depth's there yet.
Yeah.
But
quarterback.
That's my don't sleep on them. My game that has that dog in them, Georgia State, UNCC. And I picked that because both coaches are dogs.
Oh.
You got Sean Elliott, crazy. You got, what's his name? The new coach at UNCC? Higby? Biff? Yeah. Sounds crazy. So that's that game that doesn't have that dog in them because I don't think either coach is going to let their team walk off the field losing.
Yep. Hey, how many games has Charlotte won this year? Have they won any?
I have no idea.
Don't know.
Doesn't matter.
It's not the question.
Making that statement, like I don't
not
care.
The question, dude.
No, I'm wondering because this is the coach that went on and said, "What I don't care or watch us, we'll win every game" or something along the lines. He was sitting there talking trash.
Yeah, I think
we
they
need
got
chip on their shoulder.
I think
Text phoning in. Go ahead.
Calling you all from South Texas, below South San Antonio.
But below South Texas, that's
even
Mexico.
As far south as deep South Texas. Texas is all the way back, all over the state. I've been witnessing it. I've been seeing it. I've been hearing it. Texas is back.
We need proof.
Nothing you can do about it
reason.
or say to convince me otherwise.
We're going to show up our playoff model here in a second. They made it into the top 6.
AK is showing the screen, and it has a different international code.
Nice.
Are you calling us from Mexico?
All right. Keep rolling with the show, boys.
All right.
Hook 'em.
And so my playoff model jump, Michigan State, Washington. I think Washington needs a big win here. That way you can fit 4 Pac-12 teams in your playoff model.
Ooh. I like that. Washington's the Pac-12 is like 8 teams in the top 25. Oh, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to piggyback, and this was unintentional, the same exact thing. Your playoff model jump was my don't sleep on them because Michigan State's undefeated as well.
With no coach now.
But
yeah. We're not going to get into that.
Don't sleep on the Spartans.
Win it for coach, though.
That's right. Everybody, hey, Jeff Saturday.
Prove a point. Yep. Here where we go. The game with the dog in it. All right, and I'm glad y'all didn't cover it. The Battle of the Borders.
Let's go.
Real bad. All right, East Carolina at the Rock and App State. So the only thing that would make this any better is if it was like the end of November and it was -2 wind chill and these beach bums had to come to the Rock to play.
Best stadium, by the way.
They didn't fill out their allotment. They gave tickets back to us.
They did. They said there was a purple wave coming until they went 0-2, and they know they're about to get absolutely mollywopped because App State should have won that game in UNC. We didn't even talk about that, but my gosh.
Isn't that 2 years in a row? 2 years in a row?
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years in a row. It's been a one-score game. Or like 2 points.
Man, ridiculous. So AK used to play hockey, and so did Tex, with my cousins that went to ECU. So all I ever heard when I went there, still in the FCS, was y'all are D1 AA. You can't play with the big boys and this ECU pride. So I cannot wait till they come up to get Brewer and just get absolutely stuck in the mouth. So that's my game with dog in it. Playoff model jump. I'm going with Syracuse. So Syracuse win again as we get into it. They now own the orange, hands down. There is no statistic that can argue that in college football right now.
Ooh, yes. Tex, are you listening? You probably are. You might call back in.
Yeah. I would, if we just go off the purest objective metrics, they're undefeated at 2-0. They have scored 113 points and only allowed 7. There are only 3 other teams in the FBS that have scored more points than they have, and none of those have a differential like them. And it's like USC, Notre Dame, and somebody else. It is not the Longhorns.
Or Clemson, for that matter.
Or not even
or
close.
Tennessee.
Clemson's not even.
That's the next poll. Who has the best orange? Syracuse, Clemson, Texas, or Tennessee?
This year. You got to put this year.
Yeah, this year. Oregon State, too. They're ranked. All right, I'm going to put up the playoff model here in a second. Let's quickly run through the other relevant sports news.
Yeah, so I was reading another article about your beloved Pac-12. Apparently there's some rule or something in their contracts that if you announce that you're going to move to another conference before it's publicly announced, then you're not able to have a say in any Pac-12 agreements, or like your games don't count. So Wazoo and Oregon State are suing the Pac-12 to put this into effect. So therefore, they would automatically play in the Pac-12 championship game, and one of those two teams would win the Pac-12.
Oh wow,
dude! And apparently, it was over a Zoom call because I know a lot of Oregon State people, a lot of Oregon State alum.
Yeah,
they said there was a Zoom call that got hacked by the Oregon State alum and the Wazoo alum. And they said the Oregon State fans were just screaming, "Go Beavs!" Like they would take turns interrupting the media and just going, "Go Beavs!"
That's awesome.
Phenomenal. Oh, Rangers are on the verge of missing the playoffs. In your
I was
face,
hoping
Tex.
you were going to touch on that. I'm so glad, because all I've heard all year is how awesome they're doing, and they're just barely on the cusp.
Braves clinched today.
Hey, yeah, Mariners are next. Mariners are next. And then who put Dion?
Dion. I saw Dion tweeted out a picture. It was his son's birthday. And in the picture, he wrote this long comment about him. But then he goes, "You're at the top of the children ranking." And he ranked his children for everybody to see. So could you imagine?
Was it in chronological order or no? Because then that makes it fun.
That I have no idea. I just saw that he ranked them.
If it was in chronological, okay, can get away with it. If there was one kid that was born later than another one ahead of somebody, you're gonna have some internal conflict in that house.
Hey, put that dog in him though.
Yeah,
put that dog in him.
You got to be better than your sister.
Let's wrap up college football with this. Hey, Vital Gonzo Gore, we all went to App State, by the way. J-Vi and I played there. J-Vi played way more than I. Here is college football playoff bracket.
Ooh.
Updated. Look at this.
3 ACC teams.
Look at that. You got 3 Pac-12 teams. How much do I hate the SEC? Colorado is still at 1. They almost outviewed Texas and Alabama, or they may have.
Dude,
Notre Dame at 2. ETSU. Hey, we know a guy's a big ETS fan. ETSU. Number 3, Syracuse. After all DYLON's stats there, and then number 4 is USC, and then we did a 5 and 6. Texas with their win over Alabama jumps to number 5, and then
first
Duke.
One out.
Yep, first 2 out. Guess we got to do a first 4 out. So there you go. There's our college football playoff bracket. We'll get this up. Okay, quickly.
I think that's a legit bracket.
It is. I mean,
objectively, you cannot disagree with it.
I wanted Vandy to stay in there so bad. I wish they would have beaten.
Me too.
That would have been awesome. So now Arkansas is our next one. We're on the Arkansas hype train. Hey, Memphis is 2-0, by the way.
Hey, they play tomorrow night at home.
Yeah, against Navy. Against Navy.
Come on, Memphis.
So if they win, it's only home games. So if they win tomorrow, you get to go to the next home game for free. If you bought a ticket to the first one.
All right, Inter Squad DraftKings Jamboree. I have no idea who won, but here's the standings. Butch P at 44. J-Bot.
Oh, we have new standings.
No, we started over.
Oh.
Just all that wasted time. Yeah. Yeah. J-Bot won on Monday.
Oh, there it is.
I won on.
Right.
Yeah.
The hell is this? Anyways, I can't find the league. Whatever.
You want to know who didn't even score 20 points on Monday night in the showdown?
Look, there's been
the
four.
Guy that caddened Aaron Rodgers.
There's been four contests. Butch has won 2, and I've won 2.
There you go. So there you go. 2-2. We're starting off the season. All right, that's it. This was a long one. We had a lot to cover because we didn't have a first show on Sunday. But hopefully you enjoy it. Recommend our show to a friend. Recommend our show to your friends, your family. Comment on our website. Follow us on YouTube, Rumble, The Millie Goats, Twitter, at Millie Goats, Instagram, at The Millie Goats, website and blog, The Millie Goats, GoDaddySites.com. Our apparel at www.raeo.live. Be looking for merch there. Subscribe, rate, leave a review. It helps us out a bunch. We would do the same for you. We got to play some outro music here. It's got to be the only one that matters. There it is. Hey, crank that thing. That volume up.
Crank all the way.
We will see you Sunday.
Kurt tomorrow night. Everybody watch.